2, 1. Hey guys, I'm BZ,
I'm Adrian.
Mm. I'm Danae.
and this is But
Actually,
Decent.
the
the
podcast.
The podcast.
Hi everybody.
The podcast.
Nah,
The podcast. Hey.
See, I told you we could get an intro.
That's not. We can't sing it though.
Speak
We
for
can't
yourself.
sing it.
Speak for
You
yourself.
can't sing it.
Speak for
me, me,
yourself,
me, me,
Queen.
Do it.
Speak for
me.
yourself,
Right.
Queen.
That's the girl. How y'all feeling? How was y'all weekend, man?
Adrian, you start.
Okay, cool. Adrian, we'll start. How was my weekend? I think my weekend. No, I know. Oh yeah, I just thought about it. I know that my weekend was very thought provoking, and
Mm.
I've been like sitting with a lot of emotions, and so that came with a lot, and not even in a bad way, but just things where I'm just like, wait, is that? And then I'm thinking about stuff, and then it's like, damn, I've been having this been going on, or this is happening, or that kind. So it's been that kind of space. But that's just like on the personal side. But as far as like family and stuff, I've seen some of them, and my family just gonna have a party. Whether it's at the same house or across the street, what have you. So little time with my family, and I feel like I probably did something else, but all in all, my weekend was good. My weekend was good. Danae?
Saturday was pretty restful, but also efficient. I was able to knock out some stuff for my upcoming season that I've just kind of, how you just be saving stuff in random places and it's like
Mm-hmm.
bring it on together. Um, so I had a uh Friday that was kind of draining.
Okay.
And so I just needed to be laying around. And so I was able to lay around and like be productive. And then Sunday, well, Saturday was also my mama's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, mama.
Yes. But a black woman, they don't want nothing until they want something, right?
I was
So
about to say I was gonna let you explain it before I jumped in it. I was like, talk a little bit more about it.
exactly. So she has said, I just want a restful, I want a relaxing birthday. And on her actual birthday, she got that. And then on Sunday morning, my sister called me like, hey, so we going to brunch. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So we going to brunch. And that just turned into a whole day of activities.
Good.
Um, my sister had to go to work, but then me and my mom continued to hang out. We actually went back to Air Ancient Baths. And
Oh,
so,
nice.
very different to
Has she
go
been
on a
before?
never been.
Okay.
Never been. So she was like, only way I can explain it is like a kid at a water park. Like she kept like
Oh,
going
I
from
know
one
you.
to the
We
next one.
both look. I'm thinking. I said, "All right, we know your mama, and I can see her. I can
Yeah,
see
I
her."
was like, well, girl, but she had a ball. She enjoyed it.
Go on, get your
I
face on.
love seeing her just being able to kick back and relax.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And I'm like, because she was gonna go by herself, but then I think she was like nervous about going by herself. And so I was like, let me just go with you. And I'm happy to be blessed to have been able to go with her.
Yeah.
Because stuff ain't cheap.
Mm.
But that was good. And then Friday, no, Saturday, but no, Sunday, I'm talking about. By the time I got home after relaxing for 2 hours, I just was like, I'm gonna just get in the shower and slather up real good. Slap on
Not
some good
slather.
pajamas. Slap on some good pajamas to get right into bed. And so I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
That's my thing. That's my thing. I'm gonna get some t-shirts made.
We absolutely need them
I need a design.
for sure.
B,
Horizontal.
I know what you was doing all weekend.
What was I? Refresh my memory because I don't.
Where exactly where you sitting at right now?
Oh yeah, bruh. I was wait. So I decided to. It's my job is ramping up with busy season. So I was like, you know what? Before I had like like a lap table that I had my laptop on. So it's like a lap desk. So that was working. But then I was like, you know what? This is getting kind of crazy. I need multiple monitors. So I bought a desk, and I bought all of these things. I bought a lamp, as you can see behind me right there.
Yeah.
Amazon got everything, bro. That lamp was $20. Okay.
Amazon got everything.
Yeah.
Amazon got everything. So yeah, I was waiting for that, and it came in on Sunday, and I was about to start putting it together. I pulled out all the pieces, but I had to take pictures, and I was like, bro, if I ain't have to take these pictures, So, but thank God for work. So yeah, that's what I was doing on Sunday and stuff, and then Saturday we wasn't doing nothing. Everybody go vote. My wife is an election judge. So she been working the polls.
She texted me that today. I said I never thought I'd see the day. She was telling me something. She like, and when I get off these polls, I said, you know what,
working the polls.
That's working the polls. Crazy. Working the polls for our family. So yeah, that was the weekend, and then we here. So we here with some beautiful people, but actually decent. Make sure y'all subscribe and like and share and tag and all of those good things. Y'all remember Tagged?
I do.
I remember, but I don't know that I tagged though. I think I was
really.
Too old. I think I was too old for Tagged.
My show was on Tag
because my sister name was on it, but I never did. Like I feel like I was probably on like
Black Planet
Chat or something.
It'd be funny because it'd be people around my age, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I was on Black Planet. What was you doing on Black Planet?" Like,
I had a brief moment with Black Planet, but I quickly realized that this was a little too advanced for me. I'm not ready.
It's a little too old for me.
Really, I enjoy Black Planet.
Y'all talking about working overnight top
brands. Oh my god!
No, I just was on there like, whoa, these people are older than me.
Pictures and stuff. Yeah, they definitely gonna slide in your what we now call DMs, but
they was living life. Okay,
I feel like all of them just like listen to Neo Soul and like smell like mahogany teak wood or something. If he was on Black, I don't know. I just feel like that. I don't know.
Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of MySpace. Let me take that back. Maybe I'm thinking MySpace. Black Planet. I did. I was because I'm going to date online. But I feel like I probably had a bout with Black Planet like dating or something. But
you was 14 on Black Planet.
I have been a grown-ass man for a very long time.
I mean, okay, grown man. Okay. All
right,
not because
man.
I wanted to be
14 grown man. Okay.
Right. All right. So y'all want to do what y'all mad about now?
Yes, please.
What y'all mad about now? So speaking of being on the polls, election time is what I'm mad about. First off, I'm ready for it to be over. Same. It has been a colorful race.
That's a nice word for it. Colorful.
Yeah. Too much. I feel like they didn't used to be like this. Even when you think back, like from the 90s, like things were just kind of. You did not know who people were voting for. You didn't know where people. It just wasn't a thing. But now, social media age has made things very crazy. So obviously, this is going to be a very important election. It doesn't mean that it is the solution to all of our problems, right? But we need to get out, have a presence, and get something good because they out here playing. So did y'all hear about the ballot boxes that got set on fire? Yeah. So if you haven't heard, there are, and it's just voter suppression, 2 ballot boxes have been found to be on fire. One in Washington, Clark County, Washington the state. And then in Oregon, Multnomah County. And luckily the ballot boxes apparently have like some kind of thing on them, mechanism inside that makes the fire not grow and destroy them all. What I did read was that, and I'm like, how does that even work? But I don't know anything about it, right? So like, I don't do a mail-in ballot. I know that there are some people who need mail-in ballots for various reasons.
Right.
I don't know how often they dump them, like how much could have been in there. But what I read was they're asking anybody between like a 3 p.m. to like 3 a.m. If you put your ballots in there, it probably was on fire at some point. So that you can go ahead and like re-vote them or recast them. But like obviously our votes are very important. And the areas in which that happened were areas that are predicted or historically going to Democratic side. So, just a
Wow.
threat. And I just feel like if you gonna go to that length, whoever, like whatever different forms of voter suppression there are, like it just speaks to how important our votes are. So if people are willing to set things on fire and just like it's just been so much around that.
That's
Like
disgusting. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
that's crazy.
It is
stupid.
disgusting. It was one. I'm sorry. It was also a ballot box in Arizona too.
That was a couple of days ago. So
Oh,
these
okay,
two
'cause
have
my
votes.
sister
It
sent it
don't
on
matter.
to me.
It's still they're
Yeah, it's
still
still a
like
thing. Yeah, that's terrible. That is
what?
terrible.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also surrounding the election, the Trump rally that happened in New York. I'm sure you all have at
With the
least seen.
comedian.
So he got his old. I'm not even going. Not even going to it. It's old Humpty Dumpty looking ass up there. Why? First off, why is it a comedian up there? Like, is that really what y'all do in 6 days, 7 days before? But whatever. We had Beyonce. Well, they had Beyonce.
You're right. We had Beyonce.
We had Beyonce. But there was a Trump rally in New York that pretty much was a KKK rally. Where there was a comedian making a lot of like racist jokes. He said something about there being a big floating
Garbage
thing of trash.
island.
Yeah, island of trash. And he was speaking about Puerto Rico. He also I saw him make some kind of joke about him and his black friend chopping up watermelon together or something like that. And so like these, I think at this point they are just trying to be as outrageous and shocking and hurtful as they can, but also like I really really hope that backfires and makes people be like, okay, now I was good on y'all until you just started like spewing absolutely ridiculous stuff. And now apparently they're saying that comedian wasn't vetted before he got up there, which I don't know how anybody could not be vetted at that kind of high level security.
A presidential anything.
Event, right? Like
right.
Beyonce was there. You think that wasn't vetted? You think like just anybody could just get up on stage because they whatever. And Dr. Phil.
He a Trump supporter?
You didn't see? Yeah.
No, I didn't see
got
that.
up there on some MAGA stuff talking about America wasn't built on DEI.
Wow.
Just I'm very shocked. I'm hurt by him, but also like at this day and age, like anything can happen. But Dr. Phil, as much as Black women then watched and supported, and like we aren't owed anything, but it's just very eye opening, kind of like you said about your weekend, Adrian. Very eye opening. There was another guy who spoke, actually Trump's chief of staff, I believe, who made a quote saying America is for Americans and Americans only, which is a direct quote or revamp of a Hitler quote where he said Germany is for Germans and Germans only. So very ugly things are happening. Please get out there and vote. Please, it's hard to be informed because there's so much stuff going on the ballot. I went to go look for like early voting places, and it's just a lot of things are not clear. It's not clear to me, and I'm like reading through it with a fine-tooth comb. So like I know people that are just quickly moving around are just ill informed. And I asked a couple of coworkers, like, am I like, I know this is an embarrassing question, but like, I don't really know how early voting works. And none of them knew either. So I'm like, if that's just in my circle, I can only imagine how many people don't really know what's going on. And so that makes me have a ball in my stomach of nervousness. But I just really, really am praying for a good turnout.
Yeah,
So I'm mad
I
about it
agree.
because they ugly.
That's like when people are like, man, the system is messed up. No, the system is working exactly how it's supposed to work.
Right.
It's supposed to leave you confused. That's just like the DMV. The DMV, they want you to leave
Yeah.
without
And
getting
then
your
give you
stuff so
a
they can give
ticket.
you a ticket, so they can give you fines.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want you. It's no way that it should still be this difficult in 2024. That's crazy for any of this stuff, for voting, for DMV, for any of this stuff, bro. This is
I'm
crazy.
like, okay, so can I go? I just needed a flow chart. Hey, this is me. Yes or no? Can I go? Like it was wow. But then that just what you just said reminds me. I saw somebody say that like racism is not the shark, it's the water, or like white supremacy is not the shark, it's the water, right? So like we all navigate it because it's just a part of life, but um it's not necessarily like out in front. It's just kind of how we move about life at this point. So
Wow.
I don't know. I'm
I've
just
never heard that
really,
before, but that's interesting.
yeah, I thought it was profound, but also sad because it's true.
And
But
I would also say I think I heard Dr. Umar say, until we get what we want, we need to hold our vote. And I heard somebody else say, like, you never, ever, ever hear no white people talking about hold your vote. You
no,
never hear it.
mm,
Like, you never hear it. So us saying hold the vote, don't hold your vote. Go
don't hold your
vote.
vote, please. Like y'all seen the videos with those older ladies, like from that one
With
lady
tickets
that
on their
tried to
butt.
vote.
Yeah, the t-shirt.
Yeah,
Mhm.
1960, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
still
And
having
they have
your
to pay to
poll
vote.
tax. Yes, and I'm like, if that don't make you get up and do something. Like that's what made me low key because like also voting on election day, sometimes like depending on where you gotta vote, like I'm not it's an area I used to live in where I'm registered to vote, but I don't want to go all the way over there on election day. I'd rather get it done, whatever. But
Maybe I should try and get it done this week.
yeah, you can go to South Suburban.
That's boom boom.
See,
Maybe I'll do
I
that.
I did figure that out. If you're in the South suburbs, and then it's a couple of spots
I
for
was
my
about to say,
job.
why do you know that? But
Because my mom went there
yeah,
and my sister
okay.
going this week. So y'all get out and vote, not to politicize and
Yeah.
fear monger, but exercise your right, even if you just got to think about your grandma and the fact that she couldn't.
Yeah. This
Do
stuff
what's
was not
right.
that long ago. Yeah.
No, 1960, like
Yeah.
that wasn't a while
Our
ago.
parents are most of our parents was born in 1960, and they
Exactly.
like I used to think, I guess it just comes when you're younger. You used to think that like 60 was old or whatever the case, but then you
Mhm.
start getting up there, you like, that's really not old though. You know what I'm
Mhm.
Right.
saying?
Mhm.
And
No.
also, I just want to put this point right here. This is kind of random, kind of go with it, kind of done, whatever. But I remember reading where Martin Luther King Jr. said the racism in Chicago was baffling, which
Mm,
is wild because
baffling.
he was coming from the South. He
Right.
was coming
He
from
was
where
in
they were lynching people, and
Mississippi, Alabama.
he come up to the West Side like, what is going on? Are y'all okay?
Right, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
so wild to me. Like he said Chicago racism is
Chicago.
baffling.
Chicago is bad. And when I went to school in Milwaukee and I had to take a class on like the history of Milwaukee. I just think like any cities where black people were present, like they didn't have this issue in Des Moines, Iowa. But in cities where black people were present, it was extremely segregated. Um, More than people would think about those times versus this or those areas versus the South. But I don't know, y'all. But that's
Yeah, and
why the
that's
topic today is kind of fits into this. But I know we got to go into Beezy's offers wisdom and some mindfulness. So let's not stay
well,
mad. Help us
I'm
not get
mad.
Yeah.
mad.
No, actually, I don't have one today, Adrian. I'll
Okay.
throw it over to you.
Well, all right. Um, I yeah, this is wellness. Okay, so something I always want to be good in is like taking care of myself, like with what I eat and all that stuff. Like I've been um on a clean, like I just completed a cleanse yesterday. It was a 7-day cleanse, and it was 3 parts. So I would have to do this is nope,
You got to
it's
do
not
the
gonna.
YouTube hand.
There you
Oh,
go.
look at
Hmm.
me, my virtual living room. So this is the intestinal flush, and so this is a powder. So I had to put a tablespoon of this inside the pomegranate juice and drink that twice a day. Of course, I chose 5 o'clock, so even on the weekend, I had to go at 5 in the morning to do it. And
Yeah.
then after that, you take 4 capsules of purification, and you do that twice a day. And then you do 4 capsules of liver flush. Yeah, liver flush. And then you have like a
Ooh, yummy.
shut up. I chose to have a raw diet, and I said all that to say not that everybody needs to do a cleanse. I mean, yeah, but not to say that, but more so the effects that food have on you is amazing. And like when we really, really sit with that, and not even in the way of like, oh, I'm not eating no swine, or not even like that, but just to the point, like I've been to the point where I'm like, I realize that I would eat in this situation.
Mm.
And it wouldn't change the situation, but it will physically make me feel better. So then I think that the food helps, kind of thing. So like our wellness tip is like, how your food make you feel? Like what does it do for you? Whether it's good or not as good as you would like it to be, or whatever, a snack, what have you. Like what does your food feel like? Like really, we need to tap into that and like getting into understanding like how that shit's affecting us, because it's a thing. And that is my wellness and mindful tip for this episode is think of like focus. I want us to focus more on our food, what we eating and how we feeling when we eat it and all that stuff. Again, it's not to say you should, you got to give up this. No, it's not that. I just want us to think about it, because it is, when you do, you find yourself like, damn, like I was
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
So I want to just put that out there and just like plant that seed so we can think about that, how we feel when we drink water. Like little shit like that, because the winter is coming up and that's when people be getting sick. So I want to help as many all my people with everything that I know, so we could try and beat that flu bug. And we have older family members, and even with kids, because they're gross, and
Gross.
that whole thing. So just coming up with some stuff. I want to learn more stuff that we can do that to try and be healthy and not be full of colds all winter and hocking and spitting, because
Hawkins
no,
and
I hate
spitting.
that. I really hate it.
Me too. Okay, back to when we went to Air Ancient Baths again. They have like this peppermint steam room, and when I tell you, like, it's like you have to whisper while you're in there. So my mama already had a hard time with that.
Because she do
But then, but we got into this peppermint room, and nobody was in there, thank God. But when we first walked in, we both started like coughing like crazy. It was like instantly, like if there was phlegm in our chest or like any kind of
really.
anything, we both started coughing. I'm like, okay, is this a gas chamber? But I guess that's a good thing, right?
That is a good thing. That is a good
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, because you want it to come out, whatever the case.
exactly.
I
But
do have this point. I read this on Facebook. Now take it with a grain of salt because I haven't fact checked it. I'm not a neurological scientist or anything, but I do think it has some truth to it. Said a child who eats 2 cups of macaroni, 2 cups of Cheetos, macaroni and cheese, a small bag of Skittles, and 8 ounces of crushed orange will consume 102 milligrams of artificial food dyes. Also says behavioral tests found as little as 30 milligrams can cause neurological injuries. And then the parents are told that their kid has ADD or ADHD. And as
Mhm.
to your point, it's not always, it can be the food,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it be the
Believe that.
food,
I believe that.
And
especially
it
for
doesn't have
kids
to
as they
come in the
developing.
form. It doesn't have to come in the form of ham hocks either. Like
No, right.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky.
It's tricky.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we are already right on theme with today's episode. So alignment, like always. We a few weeks ago. Well, that was more than a few weeks ago. Back in wow, that was in July. We did
Yeah.
our we did our first like mental or no self-care check-in. We broke it into two parts. Adrian led us through the 6 pillars, or there were 6 total pillars, I believe.
I think that we
Uh,
discussed, yeah.
yeah, that we discussed. It might be more, but those are only ones we touched. Self-care, and so I just kind of wanted to use the time today to do kind of another check in. We said we were going to do it occasionally, but I wanted to focus in on one of the pillars, like the pillar of spirituality or the spiritual check in for how we are doing right now in this time of our lives. So, um, and for any of the listeners, like all our connection, Brian, Adrian, and Danae, our connection came through the church house.
The church.
Um,
The strip club. Oh, right. The church.
the church. Um, that's where we began forming like the chemistry and the friendship that you guys see here. Adrian and I did go to high school together, but we did not talk in high school.
Mhm.
Which is crazy
And
to me. How come y'all? That's wild. That's
I
wild.
just think we were in different silos of life and it
For
just
sure.
didn't
Right.
quite
Because
happen.
Adrian was always hooping, so that makes sense.
Right. Adrian was out there catching.
You killing it. You killing it. They
I
would have
know.
believed you.
Thanks.
You
Right.
you hit them hips, fuck.
I mean,
Doing
act like you know.
the little Uzi dance.
Oh, that wasn't good. I thought I was doing. I thought I
No,
was
that was
like,
not. I don't know what you was doing.
oh, that wasn't good. Get it. I was sitting with my chest out pumped.
But yeah, so we met through church and had organic chemistry and friendship is what we have now. But
How long have you been?
let's see. Got to be since 2010, 2011. I came home in 2010. Not I wasn't in jail, but
Imagine they don't lie.
I
You know
wasn't
you
in
was a
Welcome
jail.
home
bitch.
tonight.
You know you was selling them North
We all
Face.
got signs.
No. Yeah, since 2010.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be 2025 in a couple months.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at us now.
Oh, and we still again.
Right. Kind of what sparked me to go in this direction is because Halloween is coming up. We're recording this on Monday. Halloween is what, Thursday? Which is not one of my favorite days. Like I think because I work in schools, like you just see so much stuff. Like it's a day where a lot of people, not just kids, um, hide behind costumes and like just kind of do things that maybe they wanted to do all year. You hear about crime and you hear about and I know this has been a thing in Hyde Park. They've been better the last few years, but like they used to just break into stores and do crazy stuff. I think just in general, Halloween can be a heavy day for some or spiritually led people or whatever. And not everybody. I know everybody has their different journeys and stuff. In my childhood, I did celebrate Halloween, and then my parents started going to church, and it was not a part of what we did at that church, and it just kind of never came back. So I did have experiences with it. I went trick or treating when I was younger. I think now Halloween has kind of gotten a rebrand, probably because it had to. So I don't see a lot of trick or treaters actually on the day. I see more events and trunk or treat and stuff like that.
Trunk or
And
treat,
so
yeah.
you can't see kids having fun. I think it should be about the kids, right? I think adults have different intentions behind it, but it just made me do because usually I call off on Halloween, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh
But
wow.
this year I can't. So just trying to prepare myself spiritually for the day is kind of what inspired this episode. So my first question to you all is, excuse me, what are some of your like personal spiritual self-care practices? Like what kind of things have you found that like impact your way impact your life spiritually in a positive way? And if there's anything that you try to stay away from because it impacts you negatively spiritually.
Adrian, you go first if you got an
Okay.
answer.
I know for sure that something that impacts me positively spiritually is reading the Bible. And I realized that like because I get lost in, I don't just read like one version or like one chapter. When I read, I'm like going. Like I might be on one chapter for like an hour because I'm like looking up words and looking up the difference between the two, between different versions or whatever. And then in my head, it's a TV show. And so some of the stuff that be happening, I'll be like, this is
Yeah.
Instagram. This is Instagram. Like, what is happening? Like, that's how I get. So that definitely helps me. Um, Smooth jazz in the morning.
Mm.
That's a thing, and y'all know my day starts early, and I am going to put it on level 2 and play smooth jazz just on Pandora, and I realize that helps me kind of like not only wake up, but then it just sort of slows my mind down and give me a chance to like kind of flow, and with that, having stuff like that and having those types of experiences early in the morning, for me it shifts and I find like a sense of gratitude, and I'm more than likely going to be like, oh, I'm grateful for this, or and I might have a different kind of prayer that day, that kind of thing. So that
So
the
you don't listen to Chief Keef when you first
I don't listen to
You
Chief
don't.
Keef when I've been awake for 12 hours.
No, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
I feel
don't.
like I remember when you spent the night here, you doing that
Uh-huh.
the last time.
That's I was doing like because I do like breath work too, and I
Oh.
was at my sister's house and she has a terrace, and so it's like very my sister, and so I was sitting out there and I was like doing my breath work, and my other sisters came out there and they was like, "What the heck?" Adrian out there talking to herself or something like
Yeah.
that.
You was just
But
getting
then
yourself together
I
spiritually.
mean, and it just it helps, and it was like just sitting out in the air. So I found just things like that too, like meditation and breath work and journaling, and the obvious is prayer. That's the number one, but those are the other things that I do that helps me in my spiritual journey to keep it in a positive light. And as far as like something that to stay away from where I know to come with negativity is, and we mentioned this last week on the episode, but not taking the time to get to the root of the situation. Just solely deciding that I'm going to be mad. I'm going to see the bad in this. This is happening to me. I'm wrong. Like instead of saying, hey, well, what about blah, blah, blah? Staying away from that version of Adrian that want to just be that version of Adrian. So and that
Mhm.
comes with like who I'm talking to, and like I just mentioned with like what I'm eating, I notice a different, in my energy with based on what I eat or whatever too. So that's something that I try and stay away from, is just that stinking thinking kind of thing, and just like not being intentional in no way about like my food, just kind of eating whatever. Like that just doesn't work for me. So that's the thing for me, how it would come up and not be all crazy and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's my TED talk.
it sounds like you are, well, I know not it sounds like, but you are very into like in here, right? So
Mhm.
like even just thinking about what you're eating, thinking about how much you're sleeping, or like instead of just reacting and flying by the seat of your pants, like it seems like
Mhm.
that's where you find peace.
Mhm.
And that has like developed over time, but now
Mhm.
it seems like most of the things that you say or your actions are indeed led by like not I'm going to use the term breath work, but like taking a breath before you proceed with your work.
Mhm.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
thanks. Yes. And thank you for that. Thank you for seeing me. You
Don't
want to be on the
cry.
same basketball
Don't
team?
cry. No.
No, it's nobody credit. I ain't even- But I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
But that's
thanks.
me. So that's my TED
Mhm.
talk. B, what about you? You got some yet, or you want to go to the next?
Um, yeah. I think for me, one of the things that helps me a lot is praying, even if I know how to do whatever I'm about to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
even if it's something that I'm doing constantly, like driving somewhere or somewhere my job or something, I still want to pray and ask God for some type of like assistance or guidance so that I can see something that I may not have seen before, and not just ask for that when something is very hard. And then sometimes I do actually like to listen to like different sermons from some different preachers, especially since like 2020. A whole seem like almost all the churches are online. You know what I'm saying? So you can see their service. So that affords us, we couldn't make it to Baltimore, we couldn't make it to Florida to see this person's church, but now you can see every single week. So I do like to
Mhm.
take advantage of that sometimes. And it's funny because growing up, I would see my parents with like VHS tapes of like TD Jakes and stuff like that. And I'm like, who thinks this is fun? Oh
Yeah.
my God, this is so boring. Now look at me. Ain't that
Did
something?
did your parents used to
Subscribing to their channel.
listen to CDs, sermons on the CD
Oh,
in the
for
car? I'm like,
sure. For
oh, come
sure.
on.
Why are we in Luke? Can we put on
And we
Uncle
were
Luke?
in Luke.
Oh,
Y'all was in Luke and we was in Luke. Like,
Little bro.
man.
I was like,
That's funny.
get what? What did they get?
Right.
Like,
But you was getting it. You was
she
getting
was
it.
getting it.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
What about you, Nay? What helps you?
Um, I am contrary to age like Adrian's the Bible is hard for if I lay down or if I read the Bible, I'm gonna go to sleep. Like I have really always struggled with that. I am a devotional person because that is not as much
Yeah.
of
It
just
brings it to real
straight,
life. Yeah.
yeah, give me some application.
Yeah.
Um and so I go through stages where I am very good about reading a devotional. And then other times like I am not so great, but when I am doing that, I do feel much better about how my morning starts. Like because it's very easy to just pop up to your alarm and just get up and start doing stuff. But when I intentionally set aside that time to make it about God and not like or as much as it's about God, it's also about me bettering myself. Like it makes me
Mhm.
feel better after reading. I used to be a person that like I would only pray in the shower, and I feel like I got convicted about that because I'm like, dang, you really trying to multitask? You trying to multitask on
Mm.
God? Like you
Oh,
in here?
Renee, I
Like
just had the conversation this morning.
really? Dang.
Wow. Oh
And we
my
ain't even talked
God.
all that.
But
Wow.
actually
But like
decent is for the people. We
it
tapped in.
is
hmm
for the real niggas. Um,
Wow.
because it's kind of like you are putting a cap on
Mm.
that time, and sometimes uh you need more than that. So
You do.
what I like to do is when I wake up in the morning, just I start every morning by saying thank you, God. Like, and that's just something that's so simple, but it also like it reinforces my understanding that like, girl, you don't wake up without without him. So like pump your brakes. I know you think you all that, but humble.
Think she all fancy?
She thinks she's fancy. And I am a pray throughout my day kind of person, like kind of when I'm transitioning from, like you said, when I'm in my car, I'll say a little something, thank you, God. Or like I am things will happen and then I see them and I'm like, ooh, thank you, God. Like, thank you that that situation did not come to me, or thank you that you brought that situation out for that person. Like, I just am often telling him thank you. Um, and I get a lot of like my spiritual enrichment from my partner who is a spiritual leader. But I just think that through like hit conversation with him and my friends that also have connections to God, like I feel like we hold each other accountable for stuff. You all, when it's very easy to get bad advice from people that are just moving emotionally or maybe not connected in that way.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those things help me.
Wow.
Thanks.
That's good.
So how has your understanding of spirituality evolved over time? I can start. So I and I'm crafting my answer to this as I speak. I think as a child, like when I say child, I mean like under 10, it was just like we go to church on Sunday, right? Like we didn't always go to church, but like when we moved and we're living in Texas, that's when we really like every Sunday got up, got dressed. It was a missionary Baptist church, so it was a skirt every Sunday, okay, and some tights in Texas, hot as I don't know what. But a lot of our community was based around the church. And so I just saw it as I was going there to see my God family. You know, like I wasn't connecting to the word. It was just, what do people do? They go to church on Sunday. And
Right.
then we hang out in the parking lot a little bit afterwards, get us some food and get ready for the next week. It wasn't until like when we came back here, we would occasionally go to church. I feel like we bounced around a lot. And same thing. I don't know that I was fully connected. I was baptized and Christian as a baby. And then it was, this is cliche, but when I got my own understanding, when I got my own understanding, I was ready to go. But I connected to a pastor, and that was it was something I had never seen it done in a way that felt real to me, felt close to me, and I could reach out and touch it, right? So like sometimes when you go to a mega church, it doesn't always feel like the
Yeah.
connection can be there.
Right.
And I think it took for me to be in a smaller environment, and that's when my connection to being there and actually like gaining some understanding began to grow. And then connecting with people there again, y'all, ministries, and just the community. So I guess it's a full circle thing, right? So like early on, my community was through the church, but via my parents. And then as a young adult, I made my connection to the building, the people, and also the God while I was there. So yeah.
And being an AV ministry, I feel like that helped bring you closer to God. Mm-hmm.
Check the mics.
Mic check, mic check. I was, you know what? I will say for me, when I was like, I feel like this was one of the first instances where I was like, oh, this ain't really like, I'm not doing this on my own, because I felt like I really got to a point where it was like really practical. Like, okay, you work a job for a year, then you get a promotion. Like, you save up money and you can buy this thing. But when we bought our house, brother, that was a faith walk for real. And anybody who's like bought property before, I feel like the answer is like pretty much the same across the board, because like hurry up and wait. And it's like I have everything I need, but it's not just based on you. It's so many factors.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is practical. You save up for a house, you get the house. Like, I mean, like God can like work it or whatever the case, but it's like, I mean, what do we really need to pray for? I don't know,
Right.
But the week before we got, let's see, I think it was I do remember it was a Tuesday and we got our clear to close. And I think that same day I got fired from my job.
Ooh.
So we had a week because I got fired on that Tuesday. Then like that next Tuesday we was closing. So I was just praying that they didn't. I thought I ain't never told y'all this before.
No.
I feel like you told me that, but again, like Danae, she was like, I had a little situation with my car. That wasn't little. That wasn't little.
Like, nigga, we was at the closing table, and I'm like about to give it away. Like, is everything okay? Like, y'all take it, And Lindsay, like, my wife, she kicked me under the table. Like, boy, shut up, shut up, don't say nothing else. And we walked out of there with the key. I mean, we ran out of there with the keys because we didn't want.
I bet y'all
like,
did.
Never mind.
Hey,
come here. We forgot to call your job real quick. Come here. And you know what? For years, I was thinking like, because I was in banking, so for years I was thinking like, okay, well, if they did call my job, whatever the case, like I could have just got another job in banking. That's how I think it was going to go. But I don't know if it was going to really go like that. I could have been searching for a couple months. Then everything expired. Then that, you know what I'm saying? So,
and to get to the clear to close portion, you already paid a grip.
You done.
Yeah,
just to get there.
Right,
and
exactly.
if you get up here, they be like, you know what? That's all right. You don't get that back.
You don't get that back.
So,
no. So
man.
yeah, that was one of the first instances I was like, no, God is real for real. Cause
he did that.
For real. And that's how it be. Like the situations that you be put in, you like, man, if I could just call this person, this person don't pick up, or they can't help you. Because you know what I'm saying? If they did help you, maybe you would say, it was God that worked through them. But you like, he really wants to be like, if you could depend on anybody else, why would you need me? Essentially, you know what I'm saying? So, and it is funny talking to like my barber. He's like, I remember we had a conversation before. He was like, I don't really know if God is real. He was like, but it do be situations that I'd be like, that's crazy. Because it's funny. He went to the same church that I went to growing up. And he was saying like, it was one particular Sunday where his mom was like, you need to get you a job. You need to do something. I don't know. And he was thinking in his head, I think I want to be a barber. So he was like, I'm gonna go to church. He said during church, it's Kenny something, but the guy from Silk and Classy, he was there. He was like, anybody that want to learn how to cut hair, I'm giving a scholarship. And he was like, bro, I didn't even really go to church. He was like, but this particular Sunday I decided to go, and he was there. He was like, so I don't know if God is real, but he was like, it'd be some situations where I just be like, wow. I mean, how else can you explain that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, then you got to throw your love offering.
Yeah, here you go. Oh, dang, it flew over the top.
Because you got to throw it.
Adrian, what about you?
One, those were very good, both of y'all. Like I enjoyed both of those. And I think for me, mine is accepting that God is God and not when it's working out in my favor. And I think it's easier to be like, to believe God at church or a higher power or the blood of Jesus. It's easy to do that when you're at a church. But then when that season changes, but life doesn't, well, life changes as well, but it doesn't stop. And so you're understanding this stuff and you pulling from that person that was at the church, and then you're also pulling from the person that's going through the stuff. And I was just like, this ain't right, and something, and God ain't this, and God ain't that. And going back to me spending an hour, feeling like I would be an hour in one chapter, is because I'll read stuff and I'm like, wait, so this is how it goes? this is this is supposed to happen. So I feel like when I took the limits off and really like in all things that was going on in my life, and not just the things that were good to talk about or easy to talk about in a church setting or something, but just like the what I thought was crazy stuff happening, and then realizing like even in that, God be in that because this happened and that. So that was truly the change for me, because it gave me opportunity to learn more about him, which then revealed more about that was going on inside of me and what was happening, and that kind of thing. So that would be mine. Just taking them out the box, taking them out the box.
Yeah. Um, I love how we have kind of centered God in this because that wasn't
I mean, the
necessarily
whole
the
episode,
that was, but that's
the whole,
fine.
and that is
He
that is
deserved.
this gonna be the one. This gonna be the
Right,
one. Watch.
right. Um, we kind of already hit on this, so I will move on to another question. Purpose. In so connecting to spirituality, like, people, not people, but you just hear a lot that, um, connecting to your purpose or finding your purpose. Sometimes people find it through spirituality. Sometimes, like, you've almost reached self actualization, or kind of you operating your peak self once you've realized spiritually what your purpose is. So, do you think you kind of know what your purpose is? Do you think you know ways that help you connect to your purpose, or do you know what your purpose is?
I think for me, excuse me, the spiritual aspects of just like the everything that I described on what works for me and stuff like that, it always goes back to me like serving. And I feel like rather it's through, you know, giving suggestions about something or helping somebody organize, whatever it is, it always goes back to me with serving. And when I think about even with being when I was like a part of a church family, like serving was my thing. Like that's when I feel my best. So then like even with work now, it's always a struggle because it's not that same field. And so I have a struggle with it because I don't have to think about serving. And like where work is and I'm providing something, a service to the company, but serving and service to me are it's just two totally different things. And I feel like with the spiritual part of it, like that shows me that that's my purpose, and that's when I'm my best self, and that's when I'm showing up, is like when I'm in that space. But if I'm trying to do something else against that, it's always a struggle. It's always a struggle for sure. So it definitely revealed my purpose to me, and it goes back to serving, and that's a broad spectrum, but um any way I can think of is like if it's encouraging somebody, if it's helping somebody clean up, if it's watching kids, just so many different things. It all goes, but it's always a form of service or serving. So
Yeah.
that's for sure revealed to me in on my quest thus far.
Is there a more preferred way of serving that you would love to operate in?
I want to, and when I was talking about, and I think me and you were talking this weekend, and I was telling you that like, God, you could trust me. I'm gonna do right with it. I'm going to do this. Like I would, I would want to be have a some sort of, in a perfect world when I get my 500 million. I'm gonna have a wellness center, and I'm gonna have different like I'm gonna come up with a code to help the kids to wing them off of so many Happy Meals and chicken nuggets and stuff that kids eat, and
Mhm.
introduce more fruits and make that fun, or introduce like have a something with men that like that kind of thing would be a
Mhm.
thing for me, like to serve in that space to provide. And there's so I'm and nobody's doctor, um but I also just love that being that for somebody, like helping somebody. And so it would definitely be a wellness thing to talk through things with people, or to give some self-care or help self-care tips or whatever. Like that would definitely be more of like the does that answer your question? Just
Yeah.
okay, just the avenue
Yes,
that I
it
would want to
does.
go. Okay.
B, what's your purpose?
I feel like a lot of times we me thought about things that we do well and think that that's our purpose, and that may not be true, you
I
know,
don't know.
Mhm.
because for a long time when we met, I was playing piano, I was playing keys, and then from that church I went to another church and another church. So I mean, I've been playing like piano since I was like 15, you know, and I don't play anymore, you know. And a lot of people are like, "What?
Which
This?"
I am one of those people. Yeah.
Right. Right. Y'all right behind my mama. Like she be like, I want all my money back from all them lessons that I spent.
I bet.
But for a long time I thought it was playing the piano in church. And yeah, no. So just because you do it well doesn't mean that's necessarily your purpose.
Hmm.
Um I do feel though, like just when they're just so mean, I just really don't like that. To you know what I'm saying, it could be on a workplace, it could be especially in ministry, you got a lot of people who are like just so mean. And so I have been feeling like more so like one of my purposes is to just be kind and
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, make people
Mhm.
feel good on the inside. You know, when they walk especially like, you know, in my business, I want people to feel like, wow, I felt like I was taken care of. I didn't
Hmm.
feel like I was, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's like been kind of ringing in the past couple months. I just want people to just to feel good and just have a warm interaction because they may not get it, you know, other places. Everybody's so like gotta go, gotta do this, gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you know, it doesn't help our
That
political parties don't really yeah. Bringing out the worst in people. Calm down, calm down, calm down.
we
Relax.
done happened that quick. But no, of course I'm not in your head, but that's literally what you are. Like that's what I see on you. That's
I
what
could not
like
wait to say.
yeah, like I just cannot think of a time where I've seen you be mean. Like even when you could
Same.
be in an environment where other people are being mean and it's all around. Like I we be talking about people. And I've never heard you like get down on somebody. Like that's just not who you. And I don't know if you could, even if you tried. It just I would be like, Brian, shut up. Like, what are you talking
I'm
about?
sorry, brother
That's
man. I'm very
not
sorry.
right, right. So, like, I think that's when other people see purpose on you.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah.
when you know
Yeah.
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Um,
Love that.
I
Dania?
am still finding mine. I feel like I have. I think similar to what B said. I thought it was something. I thought it was always, kids and making sure to uh, help the children so they can be our future. But
Mhm.
That boy
I
good.
don't know, right? It's sexual chocolate. I don't know if that is all or if that is just a like pathway for me to see something bigger. I do um like to be a role model, like I'm not trying to teach every concept or like I don't think it has to be that way. I um work in high school, so I'm connected to girls, and I have recently found myself in a place where I'm like, you have a lot of experiences that you just don't share. And so what good is that doing anybody, including you, because you want to share them, but like something stops you from sharing
Yeah.
them. Um, and so I've kind of been playing with some ideas of mentorship or like maybe connecting to a specific group that I kind of try to help mold or just eat or even just provide them a space to be connected to somebody too, because I think there is a lot of power in that. I think it's also I'm figuring things out and they are even more figuring things out. So like if you just have you're attached to people that can kind of help you through that, um, that is maybe what my purpose is. I'm open to finding out what it is, but I think maybe there's something in me being inquisitive about trying different things. Like I think I've been somebody that's been kind of living within a mold for a while and starting to even the inspiration behind the podcast is just kind of us being able to just have some conversations that where else do you have them, like where else do you like we gonna get together and we gonna talk, but like I think a lot of some of the stuff that we say are things that other people are dealing with or other things or
Mm-hmm.
things that other people may be feeling. And so even if it's just one person that hears it and maybe like aligns with how one of us is thinking, like maybe it helps. Um,
Yeah.
it'll help them to, checking in with themselves spiritually and things like that. So yeah, I
To
am.
that point,
Go ahead.
I was about to say, excuse me, can I go ahead?
I was just gonna say when you was talking about our podcast, and I know a lot of people are like, man, it seems like everybody got a podcast, but I just feel like good. I just
Good.
Right.
I like that a lot actually.
Because the
I
conversations are being had and people need to hear
Yes,
them. Yeah.
Yes.
absolutely. That's
And
wonderful.
the conversations are getting out of people, and it's nice to hear other people. Like I don't really stick with one genre of podcast, right? Like because
Hmm.
it's nice to hear different kinds of things and process different kinds of things. So yeah.
I I just want to say, Danae, I am so proud of you. That version of Danae, I don't know her. She was not
Maybe it's
working
the
at Dot.
locks.
She was not
It's the
working
locks.
at Dot. Because let me tell you, Danae that was
It
working
was
at
about
Dot, driving
ooh,
that
and
Saturn.
Canterbury.
But no, yes, I am so proud of you,
Some
honestly,
about
because it's
dots.
just like I literally can, not that I haven't before, but when you were just speaking, I was like, wow, you can really like see her growth. And I'm proud of you. I am
Thank
very proud of you
you.
because
I'm proud of all of you guys.
it is
Things
growth.
be hard.
It
It
is,
be
but
hard.
yes, but I see you.
Mhm.
I see you, Queen. I see
Oh,
you,
thank
Queen.
you.
Grand Rising Queen.
No, this funny.
Grand
So
Rising Queen.
I had my school, our team name is the Vikings. So I started calling them the Vikings. They be they eating it up, like
That's so funny. The
eating
That
it
is,
up.
Vikings.
Right.
you
That's
know
funny.
what? I want
Hey Vikings.
even that.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I am proud. I am proud of you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Quick before we go, give yourself a grade. How you're feeling right now spiritually? A, B, C, D, F. B. Go.
I'll give myself an A.
Okay, Adrian.
Whew, that's good. Um, I think I'll give myself a B. Yeah, I'll give myself a B.
Yeah, I'm a solid B also.
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself okay.
We passing y'all. What we got? A 3
Yeah,
point. We got a 3.8 somewhere around there. Okay, we
yeah.
doing
Yeah,
good.
We ain't
right,
doing too bad.
Yeah.
right.
We ain't doing too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Let's close out. Oh, well, to the people, do a spiritual check-in. If any of these questions are anything that pique your interest, let us know. Even if you don't let us know, like I do want to say this. I get so much more out of just doing this than I could ever get out of like people, interacting or like, oh,
Mhm.
did y'all hit a new butt actually decent? Like that'll be cool, but also it just feels good to
It's fun recording.
hear
It's something
it.
I truly look for.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also so interesting to me how people were doing stuff for like a long time, and in everybody's eyes, it didn't really go anywhere. But then that was the thing that prepared them for their big
When
thing.
it
You know
do.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's like, had they not done that, they wouldn't have been prepared for this. And I just
Mm.
find that so interesting. That is like, especially in this social media culture of like everything got to be viral, everything got to hit, everything got to.
Mhm.
That's not how life works.
It's
Growing
true.
and building takes a long time. A plant
Right.
takes a long time to grow, and from that, if you plant a tomato, you know what I'm saying, tomato plant or whatever, tomatoes that come from the vine, like
Mhm.
you don't get that much. You don't get that much.
And try to eat them before they ready. Nasty.
Mhm. Mhm.
Which is a
So,
whole nother conversation.
right.
Mhm.
Oh
Right.
man, that's a whole nother one right there. You preaching
Uh-huh.
that.
With my love Alfred.
Ooh,
There you
ooh.
go.
Throw it out there.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all. So life is hard, especially if your spirit ain't intact. Hey, keep y'all bad kids where they
Uh,
supposed to be on Halloween. Be with your kids on Halloween now. And it's Halloween weekend next weekend, or did it already happen?
I
That's
feel
what I
like it
need.
was this past week because I know my sisters went
Uh-uh.
to a couple
Uh-uh.
parties.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's done. But it might not be. But
Probably not. Probably not.
be safe out here in them streets, Chicago.
Yeah.
Go vote. Life hard. Just keep on trucking, okay?
keep
Try to
on
keep your
trying.
spirit intact. Try to. I knew you was gonna do that.
It's my
Keep
favorite Eddie
your
Kendrick song.
spirit in track. Who has a favorite? Who
Eddie
has
Kendrick
a
song.
Eddie Kendrick song? Adrian, like, who's Eddie Kendrick?
Danae, I'm gonna let you close out before I put my
Okay,
music up
but
too.
but actually decent. We out.
Yes. See
Yeah.
y'all next time.
Bye.
Is this cool?